Welcome to the Finance Magnates Blockchain Podcast. I'm Rachel McIntosh. Ethercoin is a blockchain network that plans to eventually power a series of co-working spaces in cities across the globe. Finance Magnates spoke with Ethercoin's LaTanya Davis about the future of the network last month. So can you tell me, just, for people who don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrency, what is Ethercoin?
Okay. Ethercoin is a cryptocurrency. It's a multifaceted utility token built on the Ethereum blockchain. So it's peer-to-peer, autonomous type of ecosystem that allows the investors to have voting rights and have more of a say in what the direction that Ethercoin should go.
So can you tell me how voting works on the platform?
The voting system for Ethercoin is going to be based on Etherspace, and that's the co-working space.
Mm-hmm.
And the first location will be voted on by the investors, and we'll have a business plan in terms of what we feel the next best location will be. We want to eventually, in time, be global. Of course, that's going to take some time. So, what we do at the Etherspace will also be, in terms of cryptocurrency training, new investors in learning about the cryptocurrency space will be another way the investors can feel a part of Ethercoin.
Okay, so token holders will play a role in choosing what happens to Ethercoin as a network.
Choosing what happens to Ethercoin in one of its utilities, which is the Etherspace, the co-working space.
Okay.
We have a few. Ethercoin does a few things for the investor. So in that regard, within that Etherspace, which is the co-working space, is where investors will be able to have more of a say, because once Ethercoin is up, Etherspace is up and running, those co-working spaces, the investors will be able to get quarterly earnings from the Etherspace, depending on how many Ethercoins they hold.
Okay, so the Etherspace is like an actual physical place. What happens in the Etherspace?
Okay, so there are more and more entrepreneurs, or at least we know that a lot of the entrepreneurs can't really afford like office buildings. They have small businesses.
Yeah.
So the co-working spaces are places where these type of people go, where college students go to rent like offices. And depending on what they're trying to do in that office space will determine the pricing. And that's what the co-working space is. It's actually it's gaining more and more popularity. So with that is how Ethercoin comes into play, because you could actually pay for rent in these co-working spaces.
With your Ethercoins? With
Ethercoin.
Right, so, okay.
We're in the United States, so we're using USD. So we'll offer for them to pay for it in USD, depending on what country they're in, starting in the United States USD or Ethercoin. And the incentive will be, if this particular co-working space you're looking to rent is $180 a week, if you purchase it with Ethercoin, it will be $140. So everybody loves a discount, and they're going to want to know, more about Ethercoin. How do I get Ethercoin? So we'll have stations set up to show people how to purchase Ethercoin from the exchanges.
I see. Okay.
And then they can use that to,
Okay, so can anyone who owns Ethercoin use the Etherspace, or is there another set of requirements that they have to fulfill? And I guess more
It,
specifically, what I mean about that is is it just targeted towards grad students and startups, or can it also be used by like people who are holding dance classes and artists and those kinds of things?
well, it's open to anyone that needs the space, and of
Okay.
course, we want people, the investors, to look at this project and see the long-term value of Ethercoin. So we want people to hold the token, and of course, if you're somewhere where there's an Etherspace location, then you can use the Ethercoin that you own.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know anything about crypto currency, and which will most likely be the case, so this allows Ethercoin gains exposure that way as well. So you're going to have people coming in for all types of reasons to rent this co-working space, but they'll always be introduced to Ethercoin
I see.
because if they pay for the space with Ethercoin, they're going to get a significant discount on that space.
Right. Okay. Are there any other special features that Ethercoin has?
Well, within just kind of wanted to touch on a couple of more things in
Mm-hmm.
terms of the co-working space. You
Yeah.
can also, on location, there'll be a snack bar. They can buy items with Ethercoin at the snack bar, and then they can buy items online as well. I would say the next utility that Ethercoin offers their investors would be the artificial intelligent trading bot that we currently have now that we're developing better features for investors. It will be a user application. They can download it to their personal computers using Windows, Linux, or iOS.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a bunch of algorithms, trading indicators that they can put together to create a trading strategy. They can back test it, and if it works, they can live trade it. So it will be connected to about 5 or more of the cryptocurrency exchanges. All they have to do is put their API in, and they'll be connected to that exchange. So it has stop losses, and it's very user friendly.
Oh, cool.
And so with this trading bot, they can purchase it with Ethercoin. That's the only way to get the bot.
Okay.
And then there's a monthly fee of $50 that also has to be paid with Ethercoin. So what we do when we get this Ethercoin in from them purchasing the bot and paying a monthly fee is that we're going to burn the token. So that's going to increase the price and create scarcity. And it consistently will gain value for the long-term holders of Ethercoin.
I see. So this trading bot, can it trade any cryptocurrency, or is it limited to?
The pairs are the Bitcoin, USD, like tethers, and pretty much most of the pairs that you would find on like Bittrex.
Okay.
There's a lot of different pairs that they will be able to choose from.
Okay, and you mentioned that it'll be connected to 5 or 6 exchanges. Do you have an idea of what those exchanges are? Is that something that you can share at this moment?
I could, let's see, I could definitely say Bitfinex and Bittrex.
Okay, that's exciting.
And I would like to not tell everything.
Of course.
But yeah.
So, can you tell me about transactions on this network? Do you know what the fees are, or how fast transactions are on the Ethercoin blockchain, or how fast they will be?
Well, we don't control any of the tokens. We don't hold any of the tokens. So the users would be using an ERC20 wallet, preferably my Ether wallet. So any transactions will be the fees that are on the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
Because you would be purchasing Ethercoin from the exchanges to your My Ether wallet or your MetaMask wallet, and so that would create the fee, whatever the gas limit would be or the GW would be to send, the Ethereum to actually buy the Ethercoin from the exchange, and then that would be sent to their wallet. They would send it from the exchange to their My Ether wallet.
Gotcha.
So the investor has total control of the coin.
I see. And then another question. In the Ethercoin white paper, under the section entitled Regulation, it's written that Ethercoin gives investors the opportunity to have total control of their coins by pressing a cancel button at any time. So what does that mean exactly?
That in terms of when I mentioned the quarterly earnings from the money that's earned from the Etherspace, so they would basically hold their Ethercoin token in a vault, so to speak. And if they hold it there for a quarter, they'll get a percentage of those earnings from Etherspace. And it kind of brings the investors into the management of Etherspace as well. So with everybody being updated on what's going on with Etherspace and the decisions that are made, right, are very important for the success of a company. But that success of Etherspace is going to depend on the collective community of investors for Etherspace.
Okay.
So we're pretty much only going to do as well as the decisions that we make as a community.
I see.
So if you have your Ether coin in that vault for that quarter, whatever those quarterly earnings are, as an investor, you will get a percentage of that. And if you want to take remove your tokens out of there for any reason, then you can just press a cancel button, and your tokens will be released to you. So that's how that is going to work.
Okay. So at what point in its sort of life cycle is Ethercoin right now? Has the ICO already taken place, or when will it take place?
It's scheduled to take place later this month. I would say it's in an infancy of getting a white paper out to investors so that they can read it and they can say, hey, this is a really great project with a lot of potential. I really believe in this token, and I'm willing to invest in it. So I would say it's at the infancy of getting people to actually believe in the project and see the potential of the project.
There's been a lot of things happening in the cryptocurrency space over the past several months regarding regulation, and particularly in the United States, since you're a United States firm. The SEC hasn't really taken any specific action against in a widespread way against ICOs and cryptocurrency in general, but there have been incidences where the SEC is cracking down on ICOs and certain crypto firms. So how is Ethercoin going to make sure that it's as compliant as possible, given the fact that crypto regulation in the United States is a little bit unclear at the moment? Well,
I would, I've been, of course, paying attention to the news and what's been happening,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been trying to make sure that we are not a security, that we're not considered a security, and they do have a Howey test, and one of the criteria would be the investor has total control of the token.
Mm-hmm.
So the ability that, we don't, they can press a cancel button and get their tokens back at any time, and that they have total control of their tokens in terms of where it being on their MyEther wallet or in their MetaMask wallet. That's one way of trying to make sure that people feel comfortable with Ethercoin, and that we stay out of trouble in terms of regulations. We're not going to have any type of internal exchange or exchange for Ethercoin. So when you purchase it, you're purchasing it off of a like Coin Exchange or Bittrex or Cryptopia. And I recently they put something out that these exchanges were going to actually have to register with them. I think that considering what happened to NIM, this will bring probably more security to some investors. I know most cryptocurrency investors are not too happy about that. I know that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin recently took a dip. And what we plan to do in terms of just trying to safeguard our investors would be to invest in some tethers and a certain percent in tethers. That's supposed to be a 1-to-1 ratio. And that kind of safeguards from the volatility of the market.
Okay.
And then also working with BitSecure to try to come up with some policies for investors if they would like to purchase an insurance policy to try to safeguard their Bitcoin. So those are some of the ways we've tried to address these issues in terms of credibility and transparency.
Right. And, in terms of the ICO, can anyone participate, or are there any KYC requirements for ICO participants?
No, and I believe that it would not be necessary because of the transparency and what we are doing as a business. It's pretty straightforward. When you have an ICO, you're saying, hey, this is my project. This is what we plan on doing. And we're trying to get investors to see the potential and to see the vision of what we're trying to do with Ethercoin.
Right.
So, with that being said, you try to definitely give the investors updates on everything that's going on, and we're raising capital to get these spaces, to offer this to you, which will create long-term profit. And the AI bot is pretty straightforward as well. So, you just never know. I think that we would be definitely prepared to handle, any questions that were to come our way. So that's where we are right now.
All right. So ideally, where would you like to see this network a year after the ICO is finished?
I think we would still be in the building the infrastructure type phase.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we would be picking a location for Etherspace, and we will already have our user application trading bot out that's been beta tested by investors. And I think technology is always changes, and you just have to make sure that we are, up to date on the latest and greatest in terms of technology, and just evolve from there. Nothing ever stays the same. And, to get better and to remain competitive, we have to be willing to make changes to protocols or whatever is necessary to move forward,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Absolutely. And then, actually, when I was doing research for this interview, I was looking for, I know that, well, I guess I should ask first, when do you think the Ethercoin website will be online?
I would say within the next week
Okay.
or so, week or two,
Okay.
will be online, where, investors can come and check us out and register, hopefully, for the ICO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have to say when I was doing research for this that I came across another Ethercoin that was created in 2014. So is there any association between this Ethercoin and that one?
There's no association. Our ticker symbol is DIPG. Their ticker symbol was ETC. I believe Ethereum Classic now owns ETC.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what happened to their project, but it's not uncommon for there to be tokens that have the same name. You just have to make sure that you choose the right contract with that name, the contract address
Yes.
that we'll have for investors so that they know which is the correct Ethercoin.
Right.